This is part 2 of the video. This is just some additional notes on distance and midpoint. And so we're going to look at this, and it has to consider the line segment with endpoints 3, 7, and 5, 11. And where to find the distance, what would be the distance between the x coordinates and the y coordinates. So first, if I plot those points, so if I go to 3, here's 3, ooh, that's kind of hard to see. 2, 4, 6, 8. So if I go to 3, 7, I'll be right there. And then I need 5, 11. So 5 would be here. This would be 10. And so 5, 11. I'll move right here. And so my line will go from here to here. And so if I consider that, and I want to find the midpoint, and looking at that, I can kind of see about where the midpoint's going to be, because if I think about slope and all that, I think you can figure that part out. But if I want to know what is the distance between the x values, and so I have this part here, and so what is that distance? And that would be 2. And then I want to know what's the distance between the y values. And so here, I'm going from 7 up to 11, and that is 4. Okay, so that gives me that part. So I just found it there by counting it. But if I'm actually using, how could we find the midpoint then? Well, then what I'm going to do, if I want to find the midpoint, if I were to average my x values together, so remember our midpoint formula is x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and y1 plus y2 divided by 2. And so if I were to find the midpoint, I would plug in my two x values, 3 plus 5 divided by 2, and my y values, 7 plus 11 divided by 2, and 3 plus 5 would be 8 divided by 2, 7 plus 11 would be 18 divided by 2, and so I would end up with 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 18 divided by 2 is 9. So I have a midpoint at the point 4, 9. So let's make it a different color if I go to plot it. And so at 4, 9, I'm going to be right there. And so that gives me my midpoint whenever I am looking at that. Okay? And so that would be my answer. So now the next thing I'm going to have to do is find the distance, okay, between the two. And so let's look at that. Alright, so I want the same points, and so those were at 3, 7, and so there's 3, 5, 7, there's 2, 4, 6. Don't ask me why I'm counting this way, but this sounded good at the time. So I have the point 3, 7, and then we had the point 5, 11 was the other point. So 5, 11. And so that was our line segment. And this time we want to find the distance between those. And so think about Pythagorean theorem. If I'm doing Pythagorean theorem, how do I do that? Well, I do a right triangle, right? I have a right triangle, and if I know that this side is 2, and this side is 4, then I take and I square each of those and add them together, right? So by Pythagorean theorem, I would say that 2 squared plus 4 squared is equal to, let's call this c squared. And so I'd have 4 plus 16 is equal to c squared. And then I would have to take the square root of c to get, or the square root of c squared to get c, right? So Pythagorean theorem is really, so my distance there, we're going to call it c. That's where we're using our distance formula. Okay? Because we found the distance between our x values and squared it. The distance between our y values and squared it. And then we took and added them together, and then we took the square root. So we're really using Pythagorean theorem and just solving it for c. And so we had here 5 minus 3 squared plus 11 minus 7 squared. So that gave us 5 minus 3 is 2 squared plus 4 squared. Ooh, that's what we had right up there. And then we're going to take the square root of that after we add them together. So we have 4 plus 16, which is the square root of 20. And if I want the exact answer, I'm not going to get a decimal. I'm going to leave that as a radical. And so the square root of 20, I can write that as 4 times 5. Because I know the square root of 4, that's a perfect square, and then I have the square root of 5. So square root of 4 is 2. So I get 2 square roots of 5 will be my distance between those 2 points. Okay? Now there will be one more video, and it will be for translating shapes and stuff. And so look for that one as well.